Session 0, nothing you need to worry about as a Dungeon Master. Never is, never has been. Let's try that one more time. So here are 5 things that every Session 0 should have every single time, no matter what type of game you're playing. The first thing that you should always cover in every Session 0, no matter what the table is, friends or not, is the boundaries of the party. Now, we have to start with how do we get those boundaries? Because everyone is kind of sensitive to tell you what the boundaries are, and you as the Dungeon Master or Game Master, you're the person that gets to intermediate all these. It may be a new thing for you, you may not be used to setting boundaries or exceptions, but let's go and talk about how you can actually accomplish that. So number 1, have your players give their boundaries to you. What are the things, what are your red lines? What are your yellow lines? What are the things you absolutely do not want to see at the table? Most of us should be concerned, like mine, there is no essay or there is no that taken to the next level allowed at my table at any point in time for any reason. If you do that, you're given one warning and then you're booted, regardless if you're my friend or not. Every table will have their own set of boundaries. Those can be given to you in a card, direct message, a folded card, a text message, a private email, and then the Dungeon Master should, at Session 0, go over those. I have the party and players give those to me before the session, because what I really want to see is those items beforehand, so then I can address them during Session 0. That's the first thing you should be doing in every table, whether it's played or friends. Even if you think you know what your friend's boundaries are, when the friend of a friend shows up and they're not willing to say something when you cross that boundary, and you've got one person that feels uncomfortable because it's a friend of a friend, and we're allowing that behavior to occur because everyone else is okay with it, we're making one person feel uncomfortable. And in reality, that subject usually just doesn't need to be brought up at all. So if you have issues with boundaries, you need to talk to that individual. If someone's boundaries aren't going to be a good fit for the game because you're playing a, hardcore game, then that may not be the table for them. So these are all things that need to be discussed during Session 0 so you're all on the same page. The second thing you need to do at every Session 0 is set the expectations, the game type. This is the type of game we're playing. This is what you can expect from this game. This world is dangerous or not. You can get yourself killed. If you don't set party expectations where you can get yourself in situations where you can die, when a TPK or a player death happens, the player is very upset. If the players know that death is on the option and it's set in Session 0, it can at least soften the blow or give the players a different idea of how to handle that. The game type is also big. We're playing a dark fantasy. We're playing gritty role-playing. We're playing whimsical. Those are very important things to set at Session 0 because it sets the tone of your game. The third thing to do at every Session 0, which is my biggest one, is why is the party together? Why are you as a group adventuring together? Now, mind you, we may be doing something where we're doing a module and y'all are for something, certain goals. But if you don't set the party's dynamics together beforehand, it can be very difficult as a Dungeon Master to place the appropriate hooks to grab the party and to pull them. If we all know the party's vacationing, adventuring for a specific reason, then we can actually get down to the nitty-gritty and I can throw hooks at them that the party will agree on as a whole. Now, as a Dungeon Master, I'm going to help the party develop why they're together. The old way of doing this was, hey, I'm going to throw you in a tavern, everyone introduce yourself, the Duke has called you in, everyone's meeting for the first time. I'm not a big fan of the everyone's meeting for the first time adventuring trope. I like the you're here for a reason, what is that reason you adventure together? The fourth thing you should always cover in Session 0 is house rules. What are your rules? How are they different? What is going to be this table's expectations when it comes to ruling? How do we deal with conflict regarding rules? And what are the biggest changes I've made to the game? Now, I don't use a ton of house rules that vary greatly, but any major swooping changes that are house rules that I know are going to be different, such as grittiness or variant rules or those kinds of things, this is where you set that tone, so that way everyone can be on the same page. It's a small thing, but covering house rules, house exceptions, and how the game goes is a big one. The fifth thing you should always do at every Session 0 is an open discussion, an open forum. What does everyone think? Ask questions and talk back and forth and iron things out. A lot of times in Session 0, we don't talk about open quorum or open discussion. In fact, things don't necessarily go in that direction, but I schedule time to have that. Those are the 5 major things that I do in every Session 0. Now, with that being said, are there other things you should cover in session 0? Yes, you can add your comments below. Tell us what's your no-go or your absolute on your session 0s. I have a lot of other things I like to cover, but those are the 5 that no matter what set the tone for the game. So what do you guys think? Make sure that you like, make sure you subscribe. Thank you for helping us grow this channel, and I hope to see more of you later. Comment below what your no-goes or your absolutes are on a session 0, and we'll see you next time.